When you started this, you thought this was a one-and-done type event, right?
We absolutely did. We got through year one, and our team was so exhausted pulling off on the great lawn of Central Park that we thought that was the end. And then the day after, we got a phone call from Stevie Wonder, and he said, "Hey boys, I want to headline year two." And we said to him, "Stevie, there is no year two."
And then you realized what you said?
Exactly, and then he goes, "There is now." And so all of a sudden, we were into an annual event, and now it's in our fifth year, and we're just so excited that Rihanna and Kendrick Lamar and, you know, such incredible artists like Metallica have signed up to headline this year.
You know, part of your goal is to end extreme poverty by the year 2030. And we've talked about this before, but for people who haven't seen those other interviews, what's your definition of extreme poverty?
So extreme poverty is defined by the World Bank as those living on less than US $1.90 per day. It's the sort of useless suffering where a child would die for lack of a 30-cent immunization. And we often, you know, think the world is getting worse, but there is good news in the battle to end extreme poverty, because while I've been alive, extreme poverty has plummeted from 52% of the world's population in 1981 down to less than 25% of the world's population today.
Where are the biggest pockets that still exist right now?
Still exist in Sub-Saharan Africa, pockets of Latin America, Southeast Asia, so obviously India, Pakistan, northern Nigeria, across Sub-Saharan Africa as well. So we call it Africa Plus, but approximately 1 billion people still living in extreme poverty.
Do you know at the turn of the last century what that number was? I'm just curious.
Well, you've seen, the good news is you've seen extreme poverty decline, particularly after the Industrial Revolution.
Exactly.
So based after the, you know, 40s, 50s, 60s, you've seen amazing human progress. And so what we're focused on now is that kind of that last mile to try to reach those that haven't been reached yet. And so when you think about it, you're talking about last mile health programs like polio eradication. You're talking about water and sanitation services, trying to end open defecation.
It was before, it was you didn't have the wherewithal to do it. Now it's something entirely different, which is why it's addressable, just based on attention and just will.
And will, exactly right, Joe. Like there is enough, there are enough resources in the world to eradicate extreme poverty forever. We need to motivate the political will, and that's what Global Citizen is all about.
Yeah, it's interesting that your model is getting corporations and individuals to give money to your organization instead of doing directly to create a school or do something else. And you use the money a little differently. It's that lever of trying to beat governments into recognizing these problems, right?
Exactly. And the way that we look at it, so if you think about, you know, extreme poverty is a $256 billion a year challenge. No amount of black tie gala dinners are going to end extreme poverty if you look at it that way. And so we focus on, instead of just encouraging this short-term investment, we try to encourage long-term investment for sustainable change. And let me give you one quick example. Last month, we worked with Gucci and Chime for Change on a campaign to encourage the British government to increase their investment into girls' education. And 100,000 global citizens across Britain called on the UK government to up their investment, and they responded with $130 million in new investment for girls' education, which will send 175,000 kids to school this year. If we'd invested that same campaign money just in sending kids to school directly, we could only educate 400 to 500 kids.
Because the campaign cost you how much?
$300,000. And so that's 400 to 500 kids in school versus 175,000 kids who are going to be in school this year. And so we can't approach it with a Band-Aids for bullet wounds approach. We have to look at the systemic issues and actually mobilize vast resources if we actually want to end extreme poverty and take this issue seriously.
Is that a recognition, though, that the philanthropy can only do so much, that it's really governments that have the money to end some of these things?
It's both. See, if you think about the scale of the challenge, philanthropic investment into global issues equates to about $60 billion per annum. So you've got about a $200 billion a year gap. So you do need...
But I guess that $60 billion is going to stuff that governments won't touch because it's not tested yet.
It's critically important. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation do tremendous work in last mile health. They focus on polio eradication when very few do. So you do need philanthropic investment as well. It's just not either or. You actually need both working together.
Hey CNBC fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Here you're going to find videos packed with all of the information that you need to be smarter about your finances. You can subscribe by clicking right here and click on all the videos around me or the I right here to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.